Seth Wickersham is our guest here, but Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz, and it's very interesting. This new book he has out, Better to Be Feared, about the Patriots organization. And it's interesting to me, Seth, how you were able to get this access to the team, because the Patriots organization for the last 20 years under Belichick, especially, very insulated, very secretive. You would think even the KGB couldn't crack the codes of some of the things that they are up to and the way that they're operating. And were it not for the fact that they were trying to bust some John at that Asian spa in Jupiter, who knew anything about Bobby Kraft? And imagine the cops are sitting there on the surveillance car and they're going, "Hey, you'll never believe we just walked in there. Isn't that the guy that owns the Patriots?"
Oh, my God.
Otherwise, we know nothing about this organization. How were you able to gain this kind of access to get on the inside and actually be internally involved with the Patriots organization?
Yes, they're secretive. I mean, the opposing coaches around the NFL call Belichick and the Patriots organization the Kremlin. But
the guys all around the table, every one of them had a casino destination as their favorite vacation. And Marty Sachs' wife, the lovely Vicky Sachs, stepped up to give her version of what her favorite vacation is. And she's in the travel business, so she's been everywhere. I mean, she's talking about safaris in Africa. Lubie, you've been to Thailand.
Yes.
And she said when she first met Marty, after about 15 trips together, she finally looked him in the eye and said, "Can we go somewhere that doesn't involve a casino?"
Your life story.
Why? And every guy's story involved some kind of casino trip. It was either Vegas or, in my case, a racetrack or the Bahamas. Every single one of them involved a casino. And all of the women were just on the opposite page. Right? They're talking about having wine and cheese outside somewhere in Tuscany. And right, thinking, all of the guys are looking at each other as this conversation is taking place. And what the hell's the point of that?
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Forever validating the point, that last clip, that women and gambling don't mix. Andy Meyer. Right up there, Lubie, with Call Me Ishmael. A great opening line of the book. Women and gambling don't mix. I'm tempted here, but it's too soon after Thanksgiving to reference this one. But a guy I knew in college was in creative writing, and he had one of the dynamite opening lines of any short story. He flunked, of course, and they failed him. But he was writing like pornographic material. This was in the 70s. Which I don't know. I mean, has it advanced any, or is it pretty much the same as it was in like 1500 pornographic material?
Let's see.
That pretty much has stayed the same, right? And he had a line to open up this short story. I don't want to give it right here because it's too offensive to a lot of people. Kids are in their parents' cars being driven to school today after a great long weekend. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Great to be with you here on Ion Channel. Good to be back. Long respite. We don't normally take that many days off in succession there, but we hope you enjoyed our replays and best of programs. I did get a message from Leslie Visser. She was in the Bahamas for that Battle for Atlantis basketball tournament. And down there, I don't know how, that had to be some kind of deal she had going there. It was like she was there longer than Oprah was.
Yeah, she was there
When they first opened to join up. Yeah, we're going to be doing our next 100 shows here. Anyway, I mean, it sounds good. Atlantis is one of those places, too. Speaking of casinos and casino comps, Marty the Party Sachs is one of the few guys I know that gets a comp there.
Good for
Very
him.
hard to get comped at Atlantis.
No, they don't throw it around.
You could call like the CEO of whoever owns the casino conglomerate there, and you could be his best friend. You could have been at his wedding and say, could I get a room for like Tuesday and Wednesday night? Sometime, in the dead of summer. Oh, no, that's going to be like at least $150 a pop. Tough to do. But the Battle for Atlantis, and she was listening to a program there on Friday, and she sent me a text. Said, "What is this? 40 minutes and you're out the door?" But that was our special, and already getting us some messages here on the chat line, which we always appreciate. Big Possum, a big fan of the show, saying good morning, guys. Good morning, Lubie. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was actually great. It was actually, like you're saying, it was weird to not work for that long. And it felt like it's been years. It went really well. Thursday was great. We spent time Friday doing the tree. And then I spent time with our family as well. And then
the
Saturday.
Tree as in Christmas tree?
In
a house full of Jews? Oh, very nice. I like that.
Well, my house, not my parents. Okay. My house, we have a Christmas tree.
Oh, you have like a mixed religious marriage, right?
Yes.
Is the lovely Shirley Jewish? How did you get by with that?
She's Catholic. She's
Catholic,
Catholic,
okay.
I'm Jewish, and we did the menorah last night for the first night of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to all in the tribe.
Is that what that shouting match was about right before the ceremony that was happening in the back there when people were turning around and going, shh, shh, shh?
I don't know.
I got shushed a few times at your wedding. I was going to protest.
You probably
I
would.
have an objection.
To all of it. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, really.
It's Homestead.
All right. So anyway, so you had a good time.
It was great.
the bottom
How
line.
was your Thanksgiving? How was the Deforrest?
Oh, great. I know, just fantastic. I mean, I got the grandkids there, Liam and Christian, and
Gabe.
Mustang found a great thing. She bought a couple of presents over, even though Thanksgiving's not really a present day, but she figured, okay, let me, let's bribe the kids with some presents.
That's smart.
Liam has matured a lot at 6 years old, so he's a pretty easy handle, and Christian managed to somehow to stay on his feet the entire 12 rounds before collapsing in the locker room after the fight. When all things fell apart, according to my son Jesse, who then proceeded the next day to kick my ass on the tennis courts as I had nothing, absolutely nothing left in the tank on Friday. But just a brilliant time. And we were here in South Florida, very lucky. You people around the world, around the country. I don't know how it was where you were. I saw some snow. How great was that in that Michigan game? Michigan, Ohio State, the big house, 100,000. Jim Harbaugh has been on the hook to beat Ohio State since he got the job there. All of the analysts on the ESPN pregame show were talking about on game day, well, this is it. You know, and if he doesn't win this one, they're going to get rid of this guy. And I'm thinking, I don't know that that's the case. I mean, if a guy goes 10-2 and just happens to lose 5 straight years to their arch rival, well, what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to find a guy that's going to go 10-2 and beat his arch rival every year? I'm not sure that that's possible. I mean, you're talking about Ohio State, a program that is at the very top of its game and has been for some time, although that was a bit of a shocker, the manner in which that game was decided, which was heavily Michigan was like an 8-point dog in that game, and they win it in a runaway in the fourth quarter. So that was kind of cool to see. And then torturous. I mean, the college football was sensational. The pro football was excellent. The Dolphins are on a ridiculous roll. We'll have John Conchemi on with us later on. Dateline Dolphins is starting to take on, I don't know, minor elements of significance, isn't that? At least the Dolphins part of it. Now, it's always great talking to John because he's a tremendous football analyst, and he played the game, and Marino's his best buddy, and he followed in his footsteps at Pittsburgh. He had a career in the pros. Been analyzing the game forever. ESPN, 21 plus years, 25 according to his father. I like that his dad, who wow, I mean, does he give you a little bit of a Cab Calloway feel, Conjemi's father? Just, that kind of guy that could get up there and knock out a tap dance, belt out a show tune, play around at golf in the 70s. And the guy's like 80-something years old. Pretty incredible. But he likes to round off the tenure there at 25 years. So I'm going to give it like 22 and a hook. And take the over on John Conjemi with ESPN. But an astute football analyst, and we decided to do this thing a while back when we were doing radio here in town, and we thought, wow, you could probably dedicate an hour every week to the Dolphins, and instead of having just us schlubbering on, well, that too. I don't know if he's the franchise quarterback or not. I tell you what, let's take some calls on that. Mo and Miramar, what do you think? Well, on the short passing game, the guy is dynamite. Which he was again, man. He can drill those short passes. Very accurate. I'll give two of this. And this was true of him even last year when we were watching him. And, I don't know that anybody was convinced that he was going to be any great quarterback. I'm still not sure that they are, even though he went 27 for 31 in the ball game yesterday. You would take that most times, would you not? I don't care if you're dinking and dunking. I don't care if you're Chad Henne plus. If you're dinking and dunking and you go 27 for 31, that's a modicum of efficiency that should get you into the winner's circle, especially in a game where Cam Newton, wow.
Whoa. The whole game I just heard, shot fighter. I heard you in my
You
head.
talk about a shot fighter. I mean, he is a shot fighter. He is Lou Savarese, my friend.
Oh, jeez. That was
out there. It's unfortunate. I mean, he looked really bad a couple of years ago. Well, last year it was, I guess, with the Patriots. He came into town. I remember being at that game and watching in just stunned disbelief that any NFL quarterback could be that bad. He was horrendous. I mean, just missing wide open guys, short passes. I mean, being deflected constantly. The long ball wasn't there anymore. It was way underthrown. Scrambling around. Seemed to be confused at different times also. So then he has a shot to start for the Patriots this year. How great does Bill Belichick feel right now? My God,
Fucking
he
joke.
cuts Cam Newton and he gets this Mac Jones guy who literally. I told you this early on, Lubie, and you laughed at me.
I hate it.
It doesn't take me long to assess a guy. Now it's not always accurate, but I'm watching this guy in the preseason. I said, you know what? There's a little bit of the composure and the whole kind of body language of a Tom Brady in this kid. And, he hadn't thrown that many passes yet, but he sure looked cool in the pocket. And he looked like the kind of guy that could execute that. I mean, the Patriots live and die on a short passing game. They've been doing it for years, and it works for them. But they were throwing the ball also to some outstanding guys. I mean, they had Randy Moss at one time. Gronkowski is no slouch. Saw what he did yesterday. How did he retire and come back and play at this level? After getting drilled? I mean, he doesn't even have a rib cage anymore. They had to take the whole rib cage out after that hit he suffered in one of the early games of the season. And then he was out for 4 or 5 weeks, comes back out. He's a monster. Incredible. Plus, it looked like he had been deflated. Because I think when he retired that one year, what did he do? Go like all microbiotics or something? I mean, micro, one of those kind of biotics he was on because he went from like 265 to about $170.
Yeah.
How did that happen, right? Juice? I don't think so. Anyway, how did he come back like this? It's pretty incredible because, you thought it was kind of a clever afterthought footnote. Oh, yeah, look at that. The Bucks got Gronkowski.
Yep.
And, they have other tight ends, too, that are very competent and very powerful. But nonetheless, that worked out pretty well. But it does look like Mac Jones is the second coming, doesn't it? And the Patriots are on a roll now. They're 8-4 and have won convincingly. I mean, and Tennessee, wow. Your boy Ryan Tannehill. No Derrick Henry, no Ryan Tannehill. I think we're finding that to be somewhat of a truth. So you might have been right about something, Lubie, which is rare. Very rare that you would be right about something.
It's not rare. I was wrong about Jones, but I was right about Tannehill. I don't care. I'm going to my grave about Tannehill. I was right about Tannehill.
He's falling apart at the seams, and it's just not the same when you don't have the offensive line able to protect easily for pass plays because nobody thinks you're ever going to pass the ball if you have Derrick Henry on your roster. Right. Anyway, great weekend all the way around. The college football was sensational. A lot of changes going on there. The coaching carousel is in full swing. I mean, it's like one of those carny rides where, they lost control of the thing and it's just going around and around and around and around and around. Okay, everybody get off when you can. No, when you can. Kids are diving off from the little horse. Did you like to ride on the back of the horse? Or, see, I always thought it was a ripoff when you got on a carousel and no horses were available. I always wanted to be like Lafitte Pink Eye when I was riding a carousel as a little kid. Well, back when I was a kid, it was more, what? you have to think of a jockey from the 20s here. But I always thought it was a ripoff when you ended up sitting on that chair. You know how they have that like one couch?
It's stupid.
Stupid, right?
That was stupid. That was stupid.
What a waste to put one of those on there. I mean, why not just put all horses that go up and down? That's what the kids want.
Yeah, it's the only one that was fun.
It really is true. But nonetheless, carousel ride with the coaches. And I don't know if it comes as a surprise. Lincoln Riley, he had to pull a Nick Saban. They had him on the press conference after the Oklahoma State loss. And some guy piped up in the press conference and said, hey, Lincoln, is it true? You going to USC?
No, it was LSU. See, and he actually did.
Oh, LSU. Okay.
Because he didn't lie.
So he was right.
They asked him about LSU, and he was, no, I'm not going to LSU. He didn't go to LSU.
Coaches are the best. Football coaches may be the best liars, of all time. Although Nick, and this was great. It was so close to being the favorite part of my weekend. It was ridiculous. Auburn in the Iron Bowl has Alabama by the jugular. I mean, they're finished. They have 3 points with like a little over a minute to go in a ball game, and there shouldn't have even been that. There should have been like 20 seconds to go or whatever, 40 seconds to go. I think they had a minute and change.
It was over
when they got the ball back. Yeah. But they didn't even have to use, I don't think, their last timeout, did they?
Nope.
So they still had a timeout because this fool gets thrown out of bounds by the Alabama defense. When, if you're a coach, don't you call your own timeout and say, listen, no matter what, do not leave the field. Do not go out of bounds. We're not passing the ball. I don't care if we run 3 straight into the line of scrimmage and get creamed.
Yeah, who cares?
Right? They could be spreading our ashes at the line of scrimmage. We're going to run the ball 3 times and use up as much clock as we can.
And they use all their timeouts. They should use all their timeouts, and they should have used another 40 seconds off the clock. Bama should have gotten the ball back with like 45 to 50 seconds and no timeout.
0 timeout. 0.0.
Timeout.
And then on top of that, wow, you decide to go Red Sea on defense. As if Tony Sperano had been resurrected from the grave. Holy Thanksgiving, it's a miracle. He was dead.
Oh, no.
But he came back to impart his wisdom on the Auburn coaching staff, who was blown, that was the 3rd time this year they've blown a double-digit lead. I'm not sure how significant that is. I mean, it might have been up 10-0 in the first quarter and lost to some monster. I'm not sure. I didn't follow Auburn football that closely. They came into that game at, 6-5?
Yes.
So it seemed very unlikely that they would pose any real threat to the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Wow.
And I mean, I can hear Eli Gold. I wonder if, he was going crazy. No, he's pretty steady, that Eli Gold. He does that car racing. So, has to keep kind of a nice, even pace to things. And I don't know, is he an overwhelming homer for Alabama football? You would almost have to be if you're based in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for all of these years. Why else would you be there unless you were just getting zillions of dollars from the Alabama football program to go ahead? You don't have to show for Nick Saban, though. And I'll give it to Nick Saban on this one, Lubie. Strangely, he was very cool after the ball game. Did you catch the post-game interview? I mean, even on the sideline, I mean, it looked like he knew he was going to eat it, but always in there with a chance. Whether it's going to be the officials that give him a break, which I don't think was the case there. I mean, they just came back and took advantage of an Auburn team that completely fell asleep in terms of doing the right things in the clutch moments.
Their clock management, and I was watching with a buddy of mine who likes the NFL. He's a big basketball guy, but with me, he'll watch college football. We were at a Friendsgiving thing, and the game was on, and he said it, and I give him credit. He's like, the clock management was dreadful, and it's true. They had a 3rd and 1. Why are you running out?
What was that play anyway?
Running out of the shotgun garbage. I don't understand it. Why would you give a fast defense a head start? Get in the I formation and get the freaking yard. Like, they go in I
formation. Take a knee at that point. I mean, whatever.
They lost 4 yards. It's like, what are you doing? What is going on?
That was nuts. Now the punter ends up putting a ball at the 3-yard line, and they haven't moved the ball an inch all ball game. They have nothing. They have 3 points, Alabama. They had opportunities like any team would across 60 minutes of a game, or 58 and change, and hadn't done a thing. And all of a sudden, they're clicking on every pass play, wide open over the middle of the field, over the top. It didn't make any difference. Auburn just absolutely spit the bit there. And on top of that, they get scored upon. I have to give them this. They get scored upon in the very first overtime, a touchdown.
Yes.
So they're down 7 points, and I actually left the house. I said, okay, that's it. I can't stand to watch this. Alabama's going to come back from the grave, resurrect their hopes of going to the college football playoff. It's going to be hard to deny them. I mean, look, can they leave them out if they lose to Georgia, which you would have to think also, speaking of cremation, that we're about to witness one coming up in the SEC championship game, because Georgia looks to be light years ahead of Alabama going into this contest. So how does Alabama find a way to pull this out? I don't know that that's possible. Do you, Lubie? What do you think?
I don't know.
Bludgeoning coming up on Saturday?
It's crazy. Well, we saw this. The fact that, look, I think Michigan probably still would have gotten worked if the weather wasn't what it was. Like, Ohio State has a very wide open offense, but Michigan took advantage of
sliding away.
Snowy. It was like Lambeau in the 60s. It was like the Ice Bowl.
It was great. It was almost as if the gods had spoken. Did you see
Yes.
that? A couple of little snowflakes started landing on Herb Street's jacket. Lee Corso looked like something you would find outside of somebody's house in Minnesota in the Christmas season. I mean, he was like completely covered in snowflakes, but it was gentle at first, was it not? I mean, it was like right out of a Robert Frost poem.
Yep.
And then the next thing you know, the conditions became that's that slippery when wet type of condition. My favorite road sign, slippery when wet, which describes a lot of us. But nonetheless, you say that was very favorable for Michigan. I guess it was, because, I mean, they ran away and hid in the fourth quarter in that game.
Yep. Well, and I that's the thing. So to predict, Georgia should kick Alabama's ass at this point, but Alabama shouldn't have been in the game with Auburn. So Alabama's offense is really good, and maybe they just got stymied. And Georgia's defense is elite, but, maybe Bryce Young figures it. I don't know. I'm so confused by this college football season. The fact that Oklahoma State is beating Alabama, Oklahoma, and that like this is just a really weird year. Notre Dame sucked for the first month and a half, and now Notre Dame's really good and can be in the playoffs. Like usually college football, by the halfway point, you have a good feeling of what it is. We're at the end. Ohio State, I thought, would have annihilated Michigan. I thought they were going to really push Bama and Georgia. So I really can honestly say I don't know what the hell's going on. Outside of Georgia, there's really been no consistency. Everyone's been pretty up and down. Like even Alabama, like that should not have been a dogfight for them. Like I don't know what the hell that was, but it's changed my opinion on everything. I think Georgia will beat Alabama, but I can't say decisively. Like who knows? Like this weekend was freaking weird. And the fact that Lincoln Riley leaves a top 10 program that's going to the SEC to USC, I don't get it. USC hasn't been able to hire anybody the last like 2 or 3 hires. And now they get the biggest name.
Fabulous moolah, my friend. The
like,
fabulous moolah. And Lincoln Riley was always mentioned whenever a pro job came open.
He's going to be an NFL guy.
Yeah, they were talking about Lincoln Riley. And the other one, the weird reverse rumor was Cliff Kingsbury supposedly is being sought after, for the Oklahoma job.
Yes.
That's who they've targeted. I mean, why would this guy leave the Arizona Cardinals and go to Oklahoma to coach college football again when obviously he left there with aspirations? Is it true? It's not true of all coaches. Obviously, Nick Saban wasn't afflicted with this, or if he was, he got rid of it quickly because, here we go again, his foray into the pros was with the Dolphins organization at a time when the Dolphins organization was doing what it's been doing for the last 20 years, and that is taking a giant poop. Skippy! You want to go for a walk? No, they've been taking a dump for a long time. Although, here they go again. I mean, wild. Mr. November is Brian Flores. We'll get into this with John Kajemi later on at Dateline Dolphins. But Mr. November is Brian Flores. He never loses in the month of November. Problem is, he's usually either 0-7 or 1-7.
Exactly.
By the time those autumn leaves roll around.
And
the Miami Dolphins started thinking about winning football games again.
And he's like, oh, we're never getting rid of Flores. I'm like, I don't know what to do with him because right when you start to write him off, they win like 8 in a row. So it's like, but they
look how bad in this game. Yeah, although Cam Newton certainly didn't help his own cause any. See, that's the thing about this gesturing stuff, too. Just shut up. Go back to the huddle. It's 7-7. He's ripping open his shirt after a 1-yard plunge. And like he's Superman. Okay, great. And look, I commend anybody that's making a fashion statement because I certainly am not making one here in my lifetime. It's not like anybody's going to remember, that Jeff Deforrest, he was some snappy dresser. Like on rare occasions in my life have I actually paid any attention to wardrobe and gotten into it a little bit. And then that quickly wore off. It's like dropping carbs. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's it. No more bread. How many people have said that? How many of you?
Good.
I'm looking you right in the eye here, people. How many of you said, no more bread, no more carbs, no more stuffing, no more potatoes?
Sure.
And then what's the first thing you do? Is shovel a couple of baked potatoes into the oven there and have a knish. Unbelievable.
True.
But, it is true. You could also swear off the Miami Dolphins every year, and here they come again. So they have weak teams coming up, too. Giants at home.
And
Giants have no offense whatsoever. They're horrible. They fired Jason Garrett a couple of weeks ago. They managed to win a game against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is another one of those great mysteries of the National Football League, Mike Lubitz. The Eagles, who all of a sudden were on the ascent, go right back into the tank there and spit the bit against the New York Giants. Houston gets Tyrod Taylor back, and people are saying, well, you know what? They're not such a bad team. I mean, it's unfortunate what happened. This whole Deshaun Watson mess had to have some impact. And they win a ball game in improbable fashion, and then come right back and lose to the Jets, who are horrendous. And they brought back Zach Wilson at quarterback, and he actually, I guess, distinguished himself. Is this a good game anymore, where you're like 13 out of 18 for 104 yards?
I don't know.
What is that?
What do you mean? Lamar Jackson had 4 interceptions and 1. I didn't know you could do that.
That's another story. I had the Browns
impressive.
only getting 3 points in that game.
Oh.
My God. Did you see that exchange there? It was kind of like, and there were a couple of great fights. You mentioned one, Teofilo Lopez going down, and a guy from Australia that beat him is a guy named George Kambosos, who my friend Armando Alvarez knows, and I was congratulating. But and they were nailing each other right in this fight. And there was a lot of animosity and acrimony, legitimate between the two guys because Teofilo Lopez's father is just like that guy. Remember Danny Garcia had his maniac father at all the press conferences?
Yes.
And the guy, it was like borrowing lines from Mike Tyson. I will kill your children and eat them for breakfast. It's like, Angel, you're not fighting, my friend. Just shut up. It's the second time I told somebody to shut up. Just go to the corner and be quiet. Go away. We want to hear from the fighter, maybe, and he sort of distinguishes himself with a lot of composure. We don't want to hear from you. Now this Teofilo Lopez and Cambosis, they really got into it at one of the press conferences. I actually watched the thing online because everybody was saying, hey, you got to see this. And it looked like they were going to kill each other at the press conference. And the father of Lopez kept screaming like very inflammatory, insulting type of things, and aspersions being cast towards this Cambosis guy and his whole camp and his family. And it was ugly. It really was. A lot of this stuff, I've been covering boxing forever. I love it. But, it's very much staged, a lot of it, especially this press conference controversy stuff. You think the guys are really going to exchange punches at the press conference when there's like 12 million to be made?
Yeah, exactly.
Just by waiting another couple of hours until you get into the ring? Of course not.
Please.
So all of that is a lot of phony baloney. It's like that move that Dana White makes, when he gets between the two guys, as if like the fact that he moved his shoulder was going to stop them from knocking each other out. These two highly trained, skilled MMA monsters. But Dana White's going to stand in between. And when he was standing just in a normal position, of course they could get at each other. But as soon as he turned that shoulder in, bingo. All bets are off. Let's wait till we get this thing into the cage in that case. But, just a wild fight with a big upset. And there was another bloodbath of a fight on Showtime. A couple of guys I wasn't familiar with, Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of people are saying that was the fight of the year. So pretty good exchanges there, no doubt about it. But crazy all the way around the board of the weekend. A lot of things happening in the NBA as well. College basketball was brilliant. What night was that Gonzaga-Duke game? Was that?
I don't know, but freaking Gonzaga.
Was that the Wednesday before Thanksgiving? It seems like it was a while ago, and that was a classic. That was brilliant. And then don't sleep on our man, Rick Pitino. We're going to have to get in touch with Rick and see if he'll honor us with doing the show again. Rick Pitino, man. Did you see what happened? Iona, which I don't know if they played since, but they knock off number 10 Alabama, Iona.
What?
Yeah.
What was that?
I should have worn the Iona shirt today, man.
What a crazy weekend. Jesus, I didn't know that.
Well, this was sometime. It was earlier
Thursday.
last week. Yeah.
Well, it was Thanksgiving. That's why. It was Thanksgiving.
Okay. Well, and they were undefeated at the time. And he just schooled the Alabama coach. I mean, it was unbelievable. That Rick Pitino. I don't know. I mean, does he have that kind of quality on his team? I know he was recruiting in Latvia and all over the place. Yes, I'm in Transylvania today. It's like, Rick, what are you doing there? There's this guy they call the Count, man. He's unbelievable. But no, that was great. So college basketball's off to a rocking start. All right, so let's wrap this up here on this coaching carousel thing. Rhett Lashley, right, University of Miami offensive coordinator, considered to be a vital cog in whatever minor success the Canes had this year at 7-5. They did put up like 45 on Duke.
Yes.
To go to 7-5, and does that give them the state title, even though they lost to FSU? Because here's the sorry state of affairs of big-time Florida college football. Florida, the hotbed of talent here that everybody is coming in and just raking away the top recruits because there's so much fruit on the tree here. It's like going into an orange grove with Anita Bryant and saying, look at these, ripe and sweet. Incredible, all of these prospects that are out there. So the Canes finished the year 7-5, but they lost to FSU.
Yes.
The Gators finished the year at 6-6, and they beat FSU.
Yes.
And what was doomed by many also could have been appropriate, but deemed doomed. You look at it any way you want. But supposedly a snooze fest.
It was FSU was not good through 2.5 quarters, so Gators jumped out to a 24-7 lead. Then FSU came roaring back and fell just short, but it wasn't like a great game. It was very sloppy. The quarterback play was not good. The quarterback play wasn't good on both ends.
All right, so you had the Canes at 7-5. Gators finish up 6-6 with the win over FSU. Of course, they're all bowl eligible now, except for FSU, which is 5-7. So they're out, huh? Lubie, your big progressive year here under Mike Norvell.
They finished. They started 0-4, so they finished 5-3 down the stretch. So for FSU fans, at least it feels like they're in the right direction. But the game versus UF was very.
That's like wiping your nose with a used tissue. What are you talking about? I mean, does it do the job? Maybe. Does it feel good? No. 5-7, Lubie. That's ugliness.
It doesn't feel good, and when you're watching
FSU, 5-7.
I know. I'm talking myself into they're in the right direction.
Well, if they went 1-11, I mean, would you be depressed then? Okay, so here's where we're at. This is a little research I did here, Lubie. Today, where are we at today with big-time Florida college football versus yesteryear, which was, in this case, hard to believe. I'm talking about 20 years ago. I'm going back. I just arbitrarily picked a number, knowing that or thinking that all of those teams were monsters back in the year like 2000, 2001. So here's what you had. The Canes, 7-5 this year. In 2001, 20 years ago today, were 12-0 and won the national championship. The Gators, 6-6 this year. 20 years ago today, in 2001, finished up 10-2 and shellacked Maryland in the Orange Bowl game. So they played on a New Year's Day bowl game and came up with a huge win. Steve Spurrier was coaching back then. And FSU at 5-7 this year actually had a lousy year at 8-4 that year. And you're saying, Lubie, that the beginning of the end was then, like 20 years ago? Wow.
That was well, Bobby, the last 5 years was not great, and then Jimbo came in and turned it around. Bobby was. They weren't this. We went to a bowl every year, but we weren't winning 10 to 12 games. We're winning like 7 to 9.
It's been a downhill slide ever since. You think Gene Deckeroff, our good friend Gene Deckeroff, ever used this in his call, as you alluded to before the show started, when we were talking about this thing and going over our rather elaborate show sheet? Here it is. Yeah, I wrote down some notes. Look. Oh, you can't see those? All right. If you're watching on the video stream on my own channel, which just keeps getting better, by the way, you guys really ought to turn your friends onto it. If you're just on the audio side of things, check out the video as well. And you're saying, hey, where can I find it? Just Google the Defo Show. That's my new mantra. Somebody says hello to me on the street, I say, just Google the Defo Show. Somebody says, how is the steak, Mr. Deforrest? I say, just Google the Defo Show. That's a good thing. We got to spread the word out here. We're going to start making some money on this thing. But nonetheless, good to be with you. 20 years ago today, though, it wasn't the same. But do you think Gino ever, during one of his calls, as you alluded to, Lubie, said something along the lines of, well, there's Bobby Bowden showing signs of senility already here in 2001 as the mighty Florida State Seminoles are really staggering out there. And they look like a bunch of shot fighters.
Probably not.
You should have seen me. I was sparring with the champ. Is that the first thing any shot fighter ever says to you? If you, go around boxing gyms and you see the guy that's handing out the towels with the spit bucket over in the corner there, and, eventually one of the trainers turns, he's standing by the ring watching a guy work out, and he says, hey, Mo, can you mop up the floor? Right, the guy comes over with a mop, and he's got a picture of himself in the fighter's pose there from like some newspaper in the 1930s, tinged with yellow, barely even, recognizable what the print is, and says about the guy. And he says, that was me. I sparred with the champ. You're thinking, wow, this poor guy, man. How many shots to the head did he take back there when they opened up the Olympic Auditorium? I opened up the Blue Horizon. I tell you what, it was some fight. Basilio. I was trying to think. I was blanking on Eddie Arcaro. Can you believe that? I was trying to think of an old jockey when I was talking about that merry-go-round thing earlier this morning. This is what happens when you have too much tryptophan in your system. All right, John Kajemi coming up here in just a few minutes. Destination Sport Miami. You talk about sensational. You talk about progress. You talk about no malaise under Manny Diaz. We're talking about a thing that was conceived, and everybody said, you're crazy. Nobody will be able to put something like this together. And sure enough, not only have they done it, well, it's gone beyond the plans now. I mean, the groundbreaking has taken place. They're down there in Doral, and this thing will be up and running before you know it. Destination Sport Miami, the largest indoor, multifaceted sports facility anywhere in North America, my friend. Anywhere in North America, and we're assuming anywhere in the world, because I just can't imagine. Remember, I mean, it was all you could do. You used to bribe the custodian to get the keys to the gym. Yep. Did you ever have to do that?
Well, we sneak in. I wouldn't ask for the keys. It
was always a guy named Smitty, also in my neighborhood in Brooklyn.
We didn't have Smitties.
It's always a Smitty. Hey, Smitty, you got the keys? Smitty. No, we want to play tonight. Smitty was always a guy that had a little flask,
Oh, I was
Didn't
gonna
really
mention
understand
Santa
that at the
Claus.
time when I was a kid, right? Taking a little nip out of a straight up bottle, some cheap version of whiskey that he had picked up, and bought it like at the ice cream store. They had a little liquor section in the back. But anyway, you used to have to do that, sneak into the gym, and it was tough. If you had those kind of privileges or the ability to pick a lock, you could play some basketball maybe at night. Lights, you couldn't get them all on. So, you had all kinds of crazy systems and ways of trying to perpetuate the game. But you don't have to do that. Destination Sport Miami, the largest indoor multifaceted sports facility anywhere in the world, is Destination Sport Miami. And this is going to be great for the economy down here. Teams are going to be coming from all over the place and using these facilities. And then, of course, they're going to have their own in town and local youth programs with great people. Randy Moss, very polished. I like him on TV. I'm not just saying that because we're shilling for Destination
No,
Sport
he's
Miami.
great. ESPN's sort of fallen off, but he shines above the rest of those people. He does a really good job.
He really does. You know what? He comes right in there, and he's not afraid to make a couple of points that actually are relevant. And pretty good. The only that show drops off completely, though. They got Rex Ryan on there, Teddy Bruschi. They have Matt Hasselback, who also seems very intelligent. This is on their game day NFL game day show, though. And Randy Moss and Samantha Ponder is the host. Very attractive young lady. And she kind of goes ahead and delegates to everybody else, which is a good system for them. And yet is there. But then they go to picking the games. And it's like, straight up, how could you possibly do this? I mean, they're all wearing like FanDuel hats. I know there's a money line, but, you're laying tremendous wood. You think they would get the terminology there? That would be considered probably some kind of sexist statement. Wait, you're pointing a finger, right? That happened with the guy from Barstool, right? Took some very slanderous personal attacks at Samantha Ponder. What did she ever do to get anybody angry at her? Well, I mean, what is the problem with? Does a fine job, no? What would you say, Louie?
She married Christian Ponder, the former NFL quarterback. I don't know why that's.
And they're still married, so that speaks well to her ability to take a punch. No, I didn't mean it in that sense. I meant just to to be able to stand in there, hang in there in the pocket there, and deal with all the different problems that are brought about by a celebrity marriage of sorts. Not a big time celebrity marriage. Christian Ponder, what is he doing? He's probably like home taking care of the kids while she's out schlepping.
He does nothing.
Saying, hey, what do you think about the Jets today, Rex? But anyway, Destination Sport Miami, the greatest coming around. Randy Moss, tremendous part of their staff. You also have, just brilliance all the way across the board. Brian Trottier, Jill Ellis, the soccer coach, 2 World Cup championships with the women's national team. She's going to be coaching soccer. Levon Hernandez and 3 G Money on the staff there. They have terrific people working in all capacities. A lot of great guys are involved with this thing. Destination Sport Miami. Check it out for yourself at destinationsportmiami.com and see what is coming to revolutionize sports here in South Florida. All right, we're coming back with more. He's Mike Lubitz. We're on Ion Channel. Very happy to be with you on this after Thanksgiving. At what point do we get back into the grind? Do we just kind of
we're going to
coast to Christmas? That seems like a long way down the road. Yeah,
but I feel like people, I guess they take these next 2 weeks and work. But I feel like
you could get some things done in the next couple of weeks. No, if you put your mind to it, right? You have all those New Year's resolutions that you realize you hadn't even kicked in yet. And it was already Thanksgiving. I'm never eating again, by the way. Mayo, you can have it, man. You're trying everything. No, never eating again. That would be. How many people said that right after the Thanksgiving dinner?
For sure.
Never eating again, and then that night you're at the fridge, pounding down stuffing. Like it was cotton candy. You were at the circus. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He's Mike Lubitz, and a pleasure to be with you on Ion Channel. Great to be with Ion Channel. It's good to be somewhere. That's the way I feel about the whole situation right now. Absolutely fantastic. We have some big shows coming up later on this week. As always, Tony Segreto Old School. That happens on Wednesday. Thursday, we have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And then Friday, a Deal Volkswagen Degenerate Friday. Where I don't know how our handicappers did this week, Lubie. They gave out a lot of games.
I don't think
a lot of games. Yeah, we'll have to do some calculations on that. But they had been red hot, And that's unusual. Much like my friend Francesco, who all of a sudden cannot lose. What do you make of that? This guy's never had a winning season. Never.
That sucks.
It's like when Sperano went 11-5 with Chad Pennington, who was also a shot fighter. I mean, he had like an arm that was no stronger than Josh Heupel's was when he came into the pros. Could barely throw the ball. There's another flutter ball by Pennington, but right on the money. Look at that. It's another Miami Dolphins. First down. All right, we're coming back with more. We have to run here. We'll be back with more. John Conchemi going to go Dateline Dolphins, and that's brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in the Keys. Jim are looking real good, and they had that nice piece with Jimmy Johnson on one of the pregame shows as they shot that right there at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. How wonderful did that look in the background, Louis? The tranquility of the waters there, and Jimmy has found peace as he hangs out there in the Keys and eats those pork nachos and watches football and just has a good time talking and trading fishing stories. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in the Keys, great destination, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz. I'm Jeff Deforrest. Great to be with you here on Ion Channel. Our return from a little Thanksgiving hiatus, and we'll be back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 7:41 somewhere.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come. The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Tremendous as always, and as with anything that you're associated with, Armin Katayan, infused with brilliance. Can't wait to see it. I didn't get a chance to catch it on Sunday night. I saw the promos for it on HBO and wanted to make a note to be sure and tune in. I'm going to watch it.
Well,
right
you got to
after the
get
show
cable, Defo. You know, you got to get.
Well, the motel I'm in, since I had these problems with my wife, you're lucky they even have a
trailer
TV.
park doing it. Is it okay? You're moving between the trailer park and the hotel now. What's going on?
Well, I'm pretty much back where I started in Ontario, California, while you've moved on from the Escondido times.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
Catan did come a long way from the Escondido Times, which I think was published twice a week outside of San Diego. He made it right to the top. I unfortunately followed a different path. We all have to follow the path of our choosing. There, Lubie. This is the business we have chosen. Mike Lubitz with me here on Ion Channel. This is a new venture that is now into its second month here, and we couldn't be happier than to be with you on Ion Channel. Jack Namer, Amy, the whole crew there. Brad does a tremendous job. And, just great people to work with. So check us out on ionchannel.com or just punch up or Google The Defo Show. And you'll get us on various platforms that we're broadcasting on now. And happy to be here with you on this Monday morning. Peel yourself off the mat. Literally, I mean, it was like a pratfall. How many people went down for the count or needed a standing 8 count after leaving the Thanksgiving table? That's when you realize, wow, did I take my medication today? I'm not sure. Stand up, and you're like Trevor Burbick after that shot Mike Tyson hit him with, where he got up and then went down again. So we're happy to be with you on this Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday. I do want to remind you, though, when health very important. Let's face it. You want to go as far and as long as you can in this life. At HST Insurance, they understand how confusing this time can be. Hey, do I get this package or that one? They can help you navigate your options, whether you're looking for yourself or your family, and they will have a plan designed specifically for you. Their trusted advisors can find a plan that absolutely meets your criteria and needs to perfection. Call them HST Insurance, 855-282-8022. 855-282-8022. Well worth your time. It's a freebie call, and they'll set you straight on what you need, set up a plan for you, and then it's off to the races. You don't have to worry. What if I trip over a tennis ball? Yeah, just go out and play. You're fine. You're covered with HST. All right, we were getting into many things here on the program, and of course, we're going to we have John Congemi coming up in just a few minutes here on the show to analyze and dissect all of this stuff. What's great about John, too, he can also cover as our golf analyst, but college and pro football.
Yes.
He's all in on all of it. All of it.
He's great.
Pittsburgh dominated Syracuse, by the way. So John will be happy about that. We should have had a wager on that, should we not? Although I would not bet on Syracuse in any sport right now. No. Not even lacrosse. I think the lacrosse team is down. I don't know what happened there. There's an overemphasis on academics. You believe that? I don't know. I mean, half of Jimmy Boeheim, his team is named Boeheim.
Exactly.
They've been up and down. You think there's some nepotism involved there? Can any of these Boeheims play? Buddy Boeheim isn't half bad. He could work on most college teams. Could he not? Buddy Boeheim? Would he be getting 20 points a game if he was playing for, say, UCLA? Possible. I don't mean to stereotype this, Lubie, but, like a 6'5" white guy who can shoot from the outside, is he not still somewhat of a valuable commodity? I mean, I don't care what kind of stiff he is in his all-around game. I don't play a lot of defense there. They're going right at him tonight, little buddy. Well, they're in the 2-3 zone, which you don't play any defense in the 2-3 zone, yet somehow it stops people. Isn't that amazing that, like, the simplest, dumbest thing? This is why it's so strange that you see something happen like happened in the Auburn-Alabama game, and you see it over and over again, do you not? Where something's working the entire ballgame, and now that you're in a position where the other team is at a complete compromise. They have like 0 shot, 0.0. If they put out that thing, what form of sabermetric is that? That measures like a team will be a 7-point favorite in a ball game, and yet they only have a 48% chance to win the game. Now you go figure that. What is that? Somebody's math is a little peculiar here. Yeah. But you care to release those tax returns, Mr. Trump?
Exactly.
I mean, let's face it. If you or I, not to suggest that this would be something that I would recommend, but let's say you had fudged a couple of numbers on a tax return at some point in your life. I don't know. You forgot to include this.
Well, I mean,
you tried to exclude that. And I said, yeah, sure.
You sound like Pantangeli.
But I mean, how screwy are those numbers that they're giving out there? Right? I mean, and how much of a believer can you be in it? And then at the same time, with all of this numerology and statistical data, has it not occurred to a coach that's making $5 to $10 million a year to coach? Right?
Yeah.
They're not asking him to do, an assortment of brain surgeries or anything like that, or teach kids how to read. They're asking them to coach. Okay, lead young men. I want to go Tony Segreto on this thing. Play the national anthem here. But essentially, if you're a coach, right, just like if you're official, you need to know the rules. If you're a coach, you need to know all of this stuff. It's all part of your job. Clock management, the rules, and ways of managing your team and everything, and getting them on and off the field, so that there isn't a whole lot of confusion. But how do you not know, after being in coaching for even one day, that when you go into, and it's cliche, I mean, the prevent defense is there to prevent you from winning.
I hate it.
Why would you go away from what you're doing in a spot where you have the Alabama Crimson Tide, who was just laid an egg, Rodan size? Just hover. You're like, is that an egg? No, it's a boulder. But, I mean, they've laid an egg the entire ball game. They're at the 3-yard line with a minute and change left to go in the game, one timeout. They haven't moved the ball down the field at all. And all of a sudden, middle of the field, wide open. Sideline, wide open. Why don't we just let them go out of bounds? How does that happen? I don't mean to criticize coaches, because you see it all the time, but it's baffling, isn't it? I mean, if you keep putting your hand on the burner when it's hot, you're going to eventually realize after a while that, you know what? This is potentially painful, and they did it again. Wouldn't you rather lose? We said this before in our various critiques of Manny Diaz and the University of Miami Hurricane football team, where it's 4th and 24, and you rush 3 guys. It's insane. When you've been pressuring some rookie that's playing quarterback there, he's more likely to have one of those crazy plays like Baker Mayfield did last night, where he's backpedaling as if he was facing a firing squad, and then flips the ball in the air and loses it at midfield when they were handing the Cleveland Browns a chance to get back into that ball game. The Baltimore Ravens last night. They don't look like a juggernaut, do they?
No, neither. That division's a disaster. It was supposed to be a really good division, and all 3 of those teams are a mess. The Steelers lost to the Bengals twice this year. The Bengals are like the best team in the division right now.
And they, just as they were being anointed as a team on the so-called come, they fell apart at the seams and started losing games inexplicably to teams that were at the very bottom of the NFL power rankings. And now they've come back and scored a couple of stirring victories. So everybody's back on the Cincinnati Bengals bandwagon again. But hard to embrace anybody. I mean, the Buffalo Bills finally bounced back there, but they haven't been overwhelmingly impressive this year. Who in the AFC? Could it be? My God, could it be? Well, the Chiefs, they still have to distinguish themselves a little bit, but dare I say it, Bill Belichick, who you gave, I mean, you didn't even give him a standing 8 count. You just waved it off.
I thought it was
you were Richard Steele in there. It just came right in. That's it, no more. And waved it off for Belichick last year, which would have been, an inclination, but you can never discount the greats. I mean, that's something I think, and they can literally do it. It's the old Bum Phillips thing. They can take Hizen and beat Ewan, and take Ewan and beat Hizen, whatever that meant.
Yep.
How drunk was Bum when he said that? He always spoke cowboy, didn't he? The 10-gallon hats, Bum Phillips. One of the, I mean, he was a successful coach, but it's absolutely true. There are certain coaches, Belichick, you could probably give him any team, and he'll make something happen with it. And here he goes. He installs a rookie at quarterback. Who do they have? I mean, name me a guy that's of any great significance. They got the guy that is with the law firm, Jacoby Myers. Who else do they have, though? I mean, it's not like you look at their roster. I mean, you can pretty much you look at like Tampa Bay's roster of studs. And, I'm not that all of them are household names, but all of them have had some kind of distinguishing characteristic that put them on the map, right? Mike Evans, great.
Yes.
I mean, you look at when they have Antonio Brown. I mean, does Brady like finding him? It's not like he needs a search warrant to find Antonio Brown when he's in the lineup. Gronkowski, all of a sudden, literally, talk about, I mean, how could he not have been a shot fighter when he retired? Just said, that's it. I can't take it anymore. Comes back after massive deflation, and, somehow you can't stop the guy. It's amazing. He's like Tony Gonzalez in his prime out there playing yesterday. It was fantastic. So Belichick may have the best team in the AFC. Is that possible, or have they been beaten up on cupcakes? Because you could say that Tennessee was in decline.
I think there's a lot of that. I think the Patriots are being boosted up by the AFC, which we thought was strong, and it doesn't look that strong right now. The Chargers, what happened to the Chargers? Everyone loves Herbert. Where's the Herbert talk? It's funny when he has 2 picks and has an ad day and they lose. And again, now they're 6-5. This team, they have a great defense. They have a lot of offensive talent. He's the next coming, but they're 6-5. But no, where's the Charger talk all of a sudden? It's gotten real quiet.
Jacksonville sucks, by the way.
Yeah, Jacksonville's horrendous.
That was one of my notes.
I'm glad you to write that down.
All right, here's one. Breaking news, Adam Schefter has confirmed
Yeah, exactly.
that Jacksonville blows. Thank you, Adam. I don't know that I could have gone on with my day without that piece of information. No, they suck. I mean, and it's amazing. I love seeing Urban Meyer struggling, staggering around there, although he doesn't care, right? He's got that guy Khan's, and that's Khan, not Con. He's got Khan's $11 million or whatever it is to coach a team. Well, why not? I mean, think about that. That's an enormous amount of money to go out there and go like 15 this year, which looks like it's going to be the number for the Jacksonville Jack. 2-15 with Urban Meyer.
And the Lions. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Lions. Oh, my God. We didn't even talk about the Turkey Day game.
Well, we did cover the point spread there. Well, I wanted to forget the Turkey Day games because I got buried. I'm whooping and hollering the Lions. What did we recommend? Oh, we recommended Moneyline. Yeah, we were so confident about that. By the way, I mean, how live of a home dog were the Dolphins yesterday? I know this is after the fact, but I think we might have alluded to that on one of our shows there. Yeah. They're getting points at against a team that is horrible. You got to be kidding me, man. Charlotte was laying 2 points. Carolina was laying 2 points in that game to the Dolphins and look pathetic. My God, 5 for 21 for your boy Cam Newton.
Yeah, oof.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely done. That was amazing though. The comeback was as short-lived as any, was it not? I think Oscar De La Hoya's comeback lasted longer. When my man Danny Little Red Lopez came back after a 16-year ring absence because he needed a couple of bucks. I mean, it wasn't as short-lived as that, right? Well, that's a third-round knockout. I tell you what, champ, you're going to do it again? I don't think so. All right, so very interesting. Rhett Lashley goes, that's the offensive coordinator for the Canes, right? He's going to take that SMU job. Sonny Dykes goes from SMU to TCU. And Lincoln Riley going to USC. You have all kinds of speculation as to what's going to happen in other places. What's that?
Billy Napier supposedly. Not only it was reported.
That's your Louisiana coach that everybody loves.
It was reports yesterday, and by the end of the day yesterday, they had made him the UF head coach. I don't think he has been announced. But Billy Napier will be the next head coach at UF, and he was a guy from Louisiana Monroe.
So they got the hot guy.
Yes.
Very good. Let's see how that works out.
Yeah, exactly.
6-6, 7-5 for the Canes, 6-6 for the Gators, 5-7 FSU.
Yeah, bad year.
20 years ago, Canes were 12-0, undefeated national champions. Gators 10-2, Orange Bowl champions, and FSU had a lot of the year.
FSU down was still 8-4. Like the worst team still was better than any of the 3 this year.
All right, don't forget about our people in Hialeah Park. They have a lot of big things on the horizon, including, what should be a spectacular boxing card, and that's coming up in early January. Details available, and more and more details coming out about what the matchups are going to be, but it's going to be a Cuban sensation, Lubie. A lot of hot young Cuban fighters on the scene today. There's still a lot of guys, an influx of talent coming into the sport, and we're seeing it be more competitive than ever in a lot of divisions, and many things are going to be decided. This is like Stepping Stone City coming up at Hialeah. All of these guys are going to be in some tough trials, and it's going to be very, very interesting the way they put this card together, featuring some real super Cuban talent that you know how the crowd is down there, right?
That place is so fun.
I mean, they're going to get wild on this one. So that's going to be a festive occasion. And then the Larry Little thing is coming up, the banquet. That's always great. That's right around the corner with the golf tournament. You can get information on that. And the handicapping tournament, December 12th.
Nice.
Is going to have 2 seats available, 2 entries available to the NHC. That's the big one, Lubie.
Nice.
And that's only a $500 buy-in. And $300 is your bankroll. $125, I think, goes to the prize pool. And you can win not only the prize, which is several dimes, but walk away with whatever you happen to win that day, then help you win the contest. So you're going to make money on both ends and get a freebie seat, airfare, and the entry fee is like 10 dimes to this thing. The NHC, airfare and hotel accommodations, 2 of them available for the tournament. So that's going to be a big deal there, December 12th at Hialeah Park. All you horse players out there, excuse me, and degenerates, make sure you line up for that because entries are filling up quickly. And it's all happening at beautiful Hialeah Park. All right, John and Jimmy coming up. Dateline Dolphins brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. Mile marker 104 right there in Key Largo. You're going to love that. Great place to hang out. Nice place to relax during these couple of weeks, 3 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And happy everybody out there. Happy. I love Hanukkah, man. I mean, being a Jew, I'm a big fan of Hanukkah.
Prayers now. We have like a whole thing going. Her mother.
I like that my family celebrated both. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, right?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Whatever, man. I mean, we will worship all gods, and most notably the gods of gambling, because they reign supreme. Man. In-game betting is driving people insane these days. How sick do you have to be? Imagine if you had called for that block punt in the Dolphin game at like 155 to 1. I think the guy had 334 straight punts without getting one blocked.
Exactly.
All in. Give me 200 on the block. Some bookie shoots himself after he takes that action.
You go, bro.
What? Let's give you 300,000 for your deuce. All right, we're coming back with John Kajemi. Dateline Dolphins coming up. We'll get into all of college football and the National Football League as well, and all of these coaching changes and what does it mean. Nobody to better analyze that than our good friend John Kajemi. He joins us next year on On Channel on the Defo Show. That is Mike Lubitz. If you're watching on your screen and on your computer, your phone, and I'm Jeff Deforrest, and we will be back with John Kajemi in a moment. Dateline Dolphins coming up. Now that.
The time.
Thank you, Johnny. Johnny still has it. It's 8:02.
It's the Gambling Gourmet for Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of my favorite places. It is old school joint that's serving Spanish and classic continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly setting. It's at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. They're open every day except Sunday for dinner, starting at 5 p.m. You go in there, you see Joey and his better half, Sally. They are giving the greatest in service. And the food, oh my gosh, it's paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, stuffed veal chop. They serve this great, fantastic, warm sourdough bread. Go to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale and tell them that the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Since day one of old school, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy. New inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. We welcome to the show John Congemi, who joins us for Dateline Dolphins. John, how are you, my friend?
Defo, I'm doing well, and that's not the only thing that's going to reach a new height. I'll be at about 220, 225 after this football season if we visit too much. Because the food's outstanding down at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill.
Grab a bagel and a schmear, plus some Defo and Lubie. Welcome back to the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. Good to have you with us. Peel yourself off the mat Monday here on the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest, along with one Mike Lubitz here on On Channel. Jack Namer's fine organization, the lovely Amy, big college football fan, man. She was very excited about all the activity over the weekend. And we welcome to the program, and this is Dateline Dolphins. That's our good, handsome friend there, John Congemi. He was involved in an assortment of analyst roles on yesterday's Dolphin game. Dolphins and the Carolina Panthers. Dolphins with a convincing 33-10 victory in this ball game. And John, how are you, my friend? Good to have you on the program.
It's definitely a peel yourself off the mat Monday for Mr. John Congemi. I had a big night last night, celebrating 4 in a row for the Miami Dolphins, and it's been a good weekend and a crazy weekend, really, in college football with all the coaching changes. But sticking with the Dolphins right now, it was fun to see. It was fun to watch, and it's encouraging, I guess, guys, is the best word I can come up with, because the way it started was not what Dolphin fans wanted. And now it's getting closer. It's trending closer to what fans may have expected.
We know this can happen. It's an age of parity in all sports, and especially so this year. Everybody's using that word. It's been prominent in discussing any form of NFL football. But you ask yourself, okay, so if this is what they are, then how the hell did they lose 7 in a row?
Exactly.
Well,
what happened? I mean, what happened? I don't know that it's explainable with they had injuries and this and that. How the hell did they lose 7 in a row in very, tepid fashion? It wasn't like they were, fighting like bulldogs in there, and you thought, my God, this team's given everything it has. And now, I mean, this sort of was like validation for what they had done the previous few ball games.
Well, there's no way to sugarcoat it. The team was bad early. They didn't play well. Tua was injured. I will give him that. He had the ribs. He had a fractured finger. The offense seemed to be disjointed. The defense wasn't in this attacking mode or attacking style of defense that they're playing now, which is causing sacks and turnovers and field position for the offense. And I think the offense is starting to take advantage of those things. And you're starting to see a team play together instead of maybe a couple of plays here and a couple of plays there that went against you, and then bad things happened from there. I think bad play happened from there, and they couldn't put it all together. And I think a little bit, guys, the caliber of opponent you have to take into consideration. It's not like, the Dolphins did beat a really good Baltimore Ravens team in this 4-game stretch. But when you take a look at the opponent, and you take a look at the record, I think the Dolphins should have been favored had they been playing the way they were playing earlier in the season. It just so happens that the defense is turning on the pressure, the offense is executing and finishing drives, and you're getting some help with special teams like they did yesterday with Duke Riley blocking a punt, getting the momentum on the Dolphins side. Justin Coleman jumps on it. He goes in for a touchdown, and now you start, the confidence on that side of the football starts to rise, and the stadium's excited. And I think the players feed off of that a little bit.
My big question, John, is this is now a trend, right? Like this is 3 years in a row where they start really bad and then they get great in November. And even when they play better competition in December, they still play at a high level. Like that's one thing I'll give Flores. Once they get to this place, they seem to keep it going. But you can't start every year 1-7, 0-7, 2 and like at some point it does catch up with you. And that's what we saw last year. They finished with a great record, but they were so far behind the 8 ball that they didn't make it into the playoffs. And at some point, like you got to start earlier. Like you've been around the teams, college and NFL. Like what are they missing early on? And I get it, the competition, but they lost to the Jags, and we all know what the Jags are. So like they were losing against bad competition too. He changed things. He took over the defense, and it is a dominant defense right now, no matter who they're playing. And that's impressive. Where was that at the beginning of the year, and why can't they do that at the beginning of the year?
If I had a great answer for that, Lubie, I would drive right now to West Palm Beach, find Mr. Ross's address, and demand payment upon arrival, because I think he's probably looking for the same answers. I don't know if it's a combination of how they prepare, or maybe they're working so hard that game day is not, you're not peaking to game day. You're already at practice, going 110%, and you're exhausted by game day. I don't know what the story is early in the season, but somehow, some way, they changed what they did during the week. I know as this snowball effect in a negative way was rolling down the street at the Miami Dolphins, they changed the way they prepared. They changed up days on when days they had walkthroughs and when they went hard, and how they approached practice. And I think they changed philosophy as well. You got to remember, this was a year where you're having a second-year defensive coordinator calling signals on that side. You've got multiple offensive coordinators on this side with the new offense, and you're trying to figure out who's doing what and who's doing what effectively. And I think that's probably a 50-50, half and half answer for what's really wrong, because I don't think they know, because if they knew, they would have fixed it much earlier. But I do think you have a lot of things in place where there's a lot of moving parts, and all of a sudden the sand kind of settles and things are very clear, and you make the players start playing better without beating themselves, and a lot of things start to clear. And I think it has to start at quarterback, because everybody was on Tua early, and they didn't take into account that he's dealing with he's the recipient of all this confusion on offense. Yep. So he has to try to make it work. I think you have a rookie at tackle, you got a rookie at wideout. You're trying to get a rookie on the defensive end play like you figured he would play early. Now he's playing at a high level, 3 sacks yesterday for Phillips. So a lot of pieces had to go and figure out how they could work for the Miami Dolphins. And it just took some time, but unfortunately, it took losses to get there instead of, finding a way to beat Jacksonville, finding a way to beat Atlanta right now. And the Dolphins are sitting pretty good. They're right in the mix. Now they got to win out to make it to where they want to get to.
Willie Mosconi, man, run the table. We'll see if they can do that. John Congemi with us here on Dateline Dolphins here on Ion Channel on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForrest, Mike Lubitz. I'm not sure if this is true among your circle of friends and acquaintances. I'm going to say probably not, but the second most often asked question, and it usually comes right after the first one among people that I know, is the first question is, hey, do you have my money? And the second one is Tua Tagovailoa going to make it as a franchise quarterback? Which I'm looking at these Phil Simms numbers here.
Yeah,
27 of 31. I will say this, and being a big boxing fan, you always admire guys. One of the things about Money Mayweather, even though he didn't throw a lot of punches, he landed them. He was accurate, and when we see that same characteristic, it was something that people thought made Drew Brees great. Being accurate with the football. And he does throw a nice little 10 to 15-yard dart there, and does it effectively. And then Jalen Waddle, all of a sudden, looks like he's distinguishing himself as maybe the right choice there with that, what was that, number 5 pick? 6, yeah.
Yeah, let's take Tua first, guys. I think the best quality that Tua has as a quarterback, other than being a very good leader, which I think he makes guys want to play the game and want to play for each other. The ball comes out on time when there's a integrity in the pocket. When you're not getting guys that are coming up through the middle or giving him room where he can step up and through the pressure that comes off the edges, the ball comes out on time. He's highly accurate, and the velocity is enough where I'm tired of hearing people say, well, I don't know if he can throw outside the numbers. Well, I don't know if he can push the football down the field. Guys, he has got that it factor of playing quarterback. That's why he was the best quarterback when he was 8 years old, when he was 12, when he was 16, when he went to Alabama, and that's why he was drafted 5th overall. He's always been in that conversation because he has enough talent and he has enough of an awareness factor that he knows when things need to happen, and he's got great timing for a quarterback. And he's been able to do that with consistency now overcoming rib injury, overcoming the hip from last year, overcoming the finger injury this year. And he's been able to do it without pointing fingers. He's kind of grown a tough skin, I think. And I think this is going to bode well for him as his NFL career moves on, because it's not all, oh gosh, we lost the game, we'll get it back. And, it's life or death each week in the NFL, and you're playing for each other's jobs. And I think he realizes how cutthroat it can be, how quickly a fan base or media or people can turn on you now. So he has the ability to play quarterback in the NFL at a high level. He just needed the other 10 guys around him to raise their level of play and be able to get on the same page as him. And I think they're closer now. And I think that Jalen Waddle has figured out I can get open just about any time I want to, because I have the speed, I have the awareness, and I have a quarterback that knows, hey, I'm open now, anticipate where I'm going. And I think this is a special relationship. Remember, they're doing it with really zero outside help. There's no Devontae Parker. There's no Preston Williams. Who's the other cat?
Albert Wilson,
Fuller. William Fuller's been AWOL since, the 3 catches for $10 million in week 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
So he's doing it without a lot of skill on the outside, and he's doing it with tight ends. He's getting a little bit of run support. I think that's the second week in a row the Dolphins have eclipsed 100 yards on the ground. Now, it's not going to look pretty. You're going to get 48 yards from Myles Gaskin. You get Lindsey to come in to give you 42. You get another 10 or 12 somewhere else with Ahmed. It's going to be pieced together, but that's an important also a side action of making Tua that much better. Yeah. Because when you're running for 40 yards a game, you got to throw it almost 45 times a game. That's not the recipe that the Dolphins want to get into. They want to be highly effective throwing the football with accuracy, get a little support in the run game, but have that defense set the table where they cut the field in half. And if you get a bonus on special teams like they did yesterday, you're going to win most of the games.
Man, that sounds good. I tell you what, this is great, man. You had me convinced there. And maybe it's like Zonk and the Kick and the Merc came back. It's great. No, it's good to see. You hate to see teams that you had any kind of hopes for. And, I was thinking that this would be a good year for the Miami Dolphins, and they get clobbered and look like a bunch of schlubs. They're going 1-7. Speaking of which, this comes under the heading of, you ask the guy how the grandkids are, and he says, I love Wednesdays. The shot fighter. I mean, Cam Newton, shot fighter. He looked awful in this game. He didn't do anything to help his cause, and the Dolphins ended up in a runaway when all was said and done.
Yeah, the kryptonite was out early and often. Yeah. It seemed like he came flying out of the gate in terms of being ready to play. I'm watching him in pregame, and I'm going, wow. For just coming off the couch a couple of weeks ago, Cam Newton still has it, and they lost it immediately in that football game. It just seemed like they're other than that deep strike down the field when the Dolphins really sent pressure, and sometimes you're going to get burned by that double-edged sword. That was the only big play in the football game for the Carolina Panthers, and Cam Newton was thoroughly shut down and on the sidelines by the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Any chance you or Marino would ever be caught in that outfit that he was wearing? I mean, you both would wear it well. You're both handsome guys, but
it's a tough ask.
Did you catch that thing, man? Like a sleeveless jacket with like short pants on a tuxedo or whatever the heck he was wearing?
No.
I didn't know if I was watching football at a Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean,
not on my best day could I ever pull something like that off. I got to give Cam credit.
All right, well, if you were going to wear something like that, you might be on your way to Key West. And
yes.
If that was the case, you would want to stop somewhere on the way because it's a pretty long schlep down there from anywhere in Broward County or, anywhere in Florida. And you know what? If you're watching around the country, I know we have an audience all different parts of the world now with this Ion Channel thing. And you're coming to South Florida for a vacation, enjoy this beautiful weather we've been having. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, a mile marker 104 in the Keys. What a dynamite spot that is for a pit stop and or a stay.
You know what? It isn't as far as you think. You always think of Key West and you're leaving Fort Lauderdale and it's going to be 3 hours or 3.5 hours. From my door in Fort Lauderdale to Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill takes me about an hour and 10 minutes. And once you're there, man, you kind of put your feet up, kick back and relax. You mentioned it, mile marker 104 on the bay side, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. spectacular views, spectacular food. They've got a sports bar for your Saturday and Sundays when you're watching college football and the NFL and Monday Night Football. The Tiki Bar is sensational. Your backside will go numb as you're sipping on a couple of drinks there because you don't want to move. And my brother
First
Dominic,
move is a margarita? No,
yes,
I mean, his
margarita,
first move is always a
probably.
margarita. It seems.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Second move is a margarita. Third move quite possibly could be another
just
margarita.
a side shot of Padron there. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. I need a floater to get me by the rest of the night.
That's
but yeah,
me.
Amanda, my sister-in-law, saw her last night with my brother Dominic. They do a great job, and Larry's running the whole show down there. So they've got a great crew for first-class entertainment and service. So it's my favorite spot to go.
I think Larry and your brother Dominic were nominated for a Grammy also for Best Live Band at a Key Largo Tiki Bar. Fantastic participants in that. All right, it's always festive down there, and you're going to love it. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104 in the Keys. Don't forget about our friends at Deal Volkswagen. Had somebody, I was pulling up to the dentist's office. We look out the window, and the dental assistant says, how do you like that Tiguan? I said, I love it. She says, you think I can find a good place to get one? I said, there's one place to go. That's Deal Volkswagen. DealVolkswagen.com. They're here in South Florida, 3601 Bird Road in Coral Gables. A lot of great buys in the certified pre-owned category, which is not common in the automotive industry right now. A lot of people are getting creamed on what is known as used cars, but these certified pre-owns not only check out beautifully, but you can check them out at about half the price of their original sticker. So that's a dynamite thing. They go fast, though. DealVolkswagen.com. Anywhere around the world, they'll pretty much find a way to get the car to you. Even with the shipping restraints that are on right now, they can do it at Deal Volkswagen. All right, we're coming back with more with John Congemi. Wow, John, I mean, as a full ledger of stuff here.
What
I
a week.
literally filled up a page just getting into college football and the coaching carousel. Now, did you like to ride on the horse or did you sit on the little bench? Because I always thought that was a ripoff.
It was like a waste.
If you were on the bench on a carousel.
Or
did you like to get right on the back of the horse?
Yeah.
Pretend you were in the Fifth and Aqueduct.
I'm the horse type of guy, I think. Yeah, the bench was a weak move.
We didn't do anything.
Right? Even if you were with a hot babe.
It's actually a lazy move.
Yeah, it was a lazy move.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, the coaching carousel is spinning like a teacup ride right now. It's just incredible. So we'll get into that with John and also the rest of the pro football slate from the weekend and what's ahead. As it does seem like, I don't know what it is, but it's ominous. This week 17, it makes the season seem like it's going to go on forever. No, because I haven't put a grasp or gotten a grip on the idea that was that just week 12? Yes, week 12.
I would
the
think
NFL
for
season.
The average bettor, you have to be rubbing your hands and licking your chops going, it's another opportunity. It's another opportunity.
Can you believe that? Yeah. I hate to have to get out on a Pro Bowl. I always hated that when you had to bet like 12 grand on one side of the Pro Bowl or maybe the over-under. Just to get even. We're coming back with more with John. It's Dateline Dolphins with John Congemi, brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in the Keys here on Ion Channel. Mike Lubie Lubitz, John Congemi, I'm Jeff Deforrest, and we'll return with more with John in a moment. Now that.
The time.
8:23. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for a lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Sack. Go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? Why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Jimmy, the Dateline Dolphins brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in Key Largo.
This is the big issue with sports, let alone college football, is we never take what's good enough. We always need to be greedy. To me, 4 was okay. It wasn't perfect. Of course, they skip 8, go right to 12. Do you foresee it sitting here at 12, or do you think they're going to get greedy and keep sort of bastardizing the system?
Come on, guys. Whatever makes the most money is what they're for. Right? I mean,
we're all for that concept.
We're actually there too.
Yeah, we're in that line too. The people that put 12 together are stupid. Come on, get to 16. But well, does it make more money? So I think they'll stay status quo if they go to 12 at for a certain amount of years until the people that are 13, 14, 15, and 16 start complaining loud enough, and then they'll probably expand it. But I think they're on the track to get it better for a lot more teams to get in the mix, and that's going to generate more interest in college football. And if it does that while making the money that they're projecting to make, I think it's good for everybody.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show here on Ion Channel. Great to be with you. The Defo Show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubie Lubitz at Dateline Dolphins with the great John Conjemi, a longtime analyst on ESPN. And as we said, I don't know how many hats this guy was wearing. He was juggling them. And, he was all over the place yesterday with analysis on this Dolphin game, which we talked about at great length. Before we get going here, and I wanted to dive in, it was so juicy, all of this college football, John, so I want to get your thoughts on a few different things that are happening there. But if you're trying to identify the most affordable health insurance plan, let's face it, finding health insurance can be complicated. What do I do? Who do I call? HST Insurance can help. Whether you're looking for a policy for yourself or your family, they have a plan exactly designed for your needs. Their trusted advisors can find that plan for you and give it to you at a price that you can't believe. So call today, 855-282-8022, 855-282-8022 for HST Insurance. All right, I did a little research here, John. This was kind of curious to me this morning. I was thinking, where were we at in the state of Florida as a football state, so to speak, 20 years ago? And 20 years ago, the Canes went 12-0, won the national championship. This is 2001. Gators 10-2, annihilated Maryland in the Orange Bowl, so they took a New Year's Day bowl game down, a significant one right here in town. FSU was 8-4, and Lubie hinted that this was the very beginning of the senility beginning to set in for Bobby Bowden. That seems like a long time ago, Lubie. I don't know if I want to blame it on senility just yet. Okay, so this year, John, the Canes go 7-5. I don't know if that's any reason to celebrate. Doesn't seem like it. Gators 6-6, fired a coach. Lubie says Billy Napier might be the guy that they've snared. And FSU 5-7 under Mike Norvell, but they did beat the Hurricanes as part of that 5-7. So I don't know. We've been talking about this forever, it seems. This era of Florida being a dominant state in football, even, never mind just the Hurricanes, seems to have flown the coop. Or at least if this year is any indication, it's going to take a long time to get everybody back on track.
Guys, it goes in waves, it seems like, for the state of Florida. There's so many universities that come to the state of Florida from 20 years ago to present day. And then from that point to 2001, back 20 years prior to that have made inroads in the state of Florida. There's so many athletes that leave the state of Florida. You were able, I guess, at one time, if you were Miami, Florida State, or Florida, if you could just get a certain amount, the right guys to stay without being enticed to go other places, you felt like you were going to have 8 to 9 to 10 wins on a regular basis, just with the athletes in the state of Florida. Now that college football, everybody's on college football. It doesn't matter where you go to school. It doesn't matter how many directional letters you have in front of the name of your university. You're going to be on TV, whether it's a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, prime time on Saturday night, sometimes Sunday in the beginning of the season, or Monday night if you're playing at a big university and have a big game early that's an opener. You're going to be on TV, so it doesn't really matter. Where can I play? Where can I get my fastest track to the National Football League? Because that's what every small kid now is looking to do. And you don't need the University of Miami, you don't need Florida, and you don't need Florida State to get there. I think that's been the biggest change in college football over the last 20 years, that you could go to a small school in somewhere in this country where you have never traveled, and someone will find you at a combine, someone will find you on tape, and they will find a path, if you're good enough, to give you an opportunity to play in the National Football League. And I don't think players that are 8 and 9 years old that have their own video it's already up on anywhere you can find it. He already knows he doesn't need those universities. He can go anywhere where he has a chance to play early. And I think that's the biggest change in dynamic of the state schools kind of dominating here in the state of Florida.
All right. The word is, at least according to Lubie, I don't know that this has been made official. And the hot guy, one of the hot names was Billy Napier, who was coaching at Louisiana. Now, I would have to admit, I don't know enough about Billy Napier or Louisiana football to really have any kind of relevant comment, except for the fact that every job that popped open, he was right in there behind Lane Kiffin as the leading candidate for the job. So what do we know about this, John Conchemi? What do you think? And is this a move that's going to finally put this Gator program back where it wanted to be? And what are the distinguishing characteristics about Napier that made him such a hot proposition in the first place?
First of all, Defo, back to where we want to be is so 2021, I guess, because if you just go back 4 years and look at the record that Dan Mullen put together, I think they had 2 or 3 top 10s. Yes. They had huge bowl win. This year, they're a 2-point play away from beating Alabama, which kind of turns their season around. Yep. So it's what have you done for me lately? And Florida and Boss Hogg that was making the decision down in Gainesville, he said that this is enough.
Better get us a new coach there.
better go get somebody. Not a lot of vowels in their name, and bring him now. So Billy Napier has been successful everywhere he's been. He's been at big schools as an assistant at Alabama, multiple Division I schools that have the blue collar pedigree in terms of being, winning is the ultimate. And he's been a hot name for the last couple of seasons. And he's done a great job. I think he's playing for the conference championship next week at Louisiana against App State, I believe they're playing. So this is a guy, he's a young, 42 years old. He's right in that strike zone of where you want to get a young coach to go out and recruit. Where that's probably the detriment of Dan Mullen, because it seemed like over the last month and a half, 2 months, it got out that, it's not the greatest thing in the world for a family guy that's probably in his late 40s, early 50s, that wants to go out and have to go out and massage these 15, 16, and 17-year-olds, where you could go to the transfer portal now, get experienced players, and not do as much recruiting in terms of getting out on the road. So they make a change there, it looks like, and everybody that you talk to is excited about Billy Napier, because he was the hot name at other places. USC that had an opening, Virginia Tech that had an opening, LSU would have been a natural fit for Billy Napier, staying in the state. So Florida gets him, and let's see what happens.
John Kajemi with us here at Dateline Dolphins, where we go the full spectrum of college and pro football with John, outstanding analyst, and brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway. Mike Lubie, Lubitz, Jeff Deforrest with you here on Ion Channel. All right, we mentioned a coaching carousel, and it always happens. Right? We've seen a couple of guys actually sign long-term extensions. This guy at Penn State, Franklin, right, got like another 27 years, and somebody else also benefited. I don't recall who it was.
Supposedly is getting a monster extension. Mel Tucker at Michigan State, who then went on to lose the next two games.
Yeah.
Got a ridiculous.
That was great timing by Mel Tucker.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's hand him the money, man. It's like the goalie for the Panthers, Bobrovsky, when all that money was weighing him down last year, and all of a sudden he had to admit that he was blind in one eye. But and then he's bounced back nicely, which is good, and maybe these coaches will. But all that being said, I mean, I have to admit, I was surprised to see Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma. It seems like a program that you can maintain a high level of excellence with, whereas it's uncertain what you can do at USC. A lot of guys have been in there that had great reputations and they failed. Although, how much moolah was involved there, John Kajemi? That has to be some monstrous contract.
Well, just think about it now. With Texas and Oklahoma going to be leaving the Big 12 in a few years, and they're going to go bang their heads in the SEC against Georgia and Alabama and Texas A&M. And even though you're one of those teams at Oklahoma, because
good time to get out. Yeah,
it's a great time to get out. If you're going to get paid more money,
I want out.
If you're going to get paid more money to go to a school that has such low expectations in terms of where they are now, and if you win a couple of more games and you're competing for a Pac-12 conference title, which isn't that hard to do because you don't know how good Oregon's going to be every year. You're not sure how good Washington's going to be. UCLA seems to be on the rise, and that's your big rival game. But it's a much easier path to get to where you need to get to than it's going to be for Oklahoma in the next 2 to 5 to 7 years because of the caliber of competition you're going to go face and the way football changes from conference to conference. The SEC is a different animal than the Pac-12 or the Big 12 or the ACC. It's just different styles of play. And I think, it must have been significant for Lincoln Riley to move because he's got one of those jobs you stay at forever. So now Bob Stoops has to come back, coach in the bowl game for OU. And now they're saying that Cliff Kingsbury.
Like he works for Fox.
Yeah.
So random.
So he's coming back to coach.
How'd they come up with that one? That's a beauty. It really is. It's like bringing Rex back to coach the Jets. All of a
he's
sudden
still got a Ponderosa out in Norman that he's living on, so he doesn't have to go far. He could probably still fulfill his Fox duties, and he'll have the assistants run the team. And Bob's going to, kind of do.
Maybe he commentates on the game. That would be unique.
Yeah,
it's on the coaching.
It'd be a lot of fun for him. So, and he deserves it. He had a great career. So, what better person could you put in place until you're trying to find the next guy?
What's interesting, John, and it's funny I was talking yesterday with people when this first came out. I'm like, why would he go? Like, OU's going to pay him whatever he needs. Now that they're going to the SEC, they'll have the money. Like, that's the kind of place where it's funny. They have expectations, but like we saw with Stoops, he sort of plateaued. They weren't winning titles. And as long as they were getting to 10 wins, they were owning the Big 12. The Big 12 sort of down. Like, he was just there. Maybe the NFL, fine. But other than that, it didn't seem like he'd leave. Now, since it's come out, Oklahoma openly admitted, look, they offered him more money than we could match. I don't know what that is. That's sort of ridiculous to me that USC offered that much money because OU is a top 10 program with plenty of money. And they're in
their alumni are in the movie business.
In the oil world. But yes, LA, USC supposedly has a whole nother level of money. So I see that. A lot of people are saying, and it's interesting you brought it up, that he's scared of the SEC. Is it that he's scared or he's smart? Like the Pac-12 is down. Like, why not avoid Georgia, Alabama, LSU, A&M, Florida. Like, why not? Like, that just seems stupid, actually. If you have this job sitting there, Cristobal every year is going to lose 2 or 3. You know he is. So, and he's only winning because the LA schools are down. It's wide open for someone to just own California again.
It's a great opportunity, and it's one of those schools that if you're good, you're going to be nationally recognized within a couple of minutes of watching USC come out and hearing the fight song and hearing the fans and filling up the Coliseum. It's awesome, right? It's one of those schools you grew up with. If you're around my age, you watch them play Notre Dame, you watch them play UCLA, you watch them play on a national stage. And Oklahoma is the same brand. I believe he went just because of the cash, and he went because that team is down. If you win a couple of games, you're a hero. Where's Oklahoma going to go if they can't? I don't think they can get to the levels of where USC can get to in a matter of the next 2 or 3 years. Because Oklahoma, as you said, Lubie, it may have plateaued under Stoops, but where are you going when there's no, hey, he even did a better job? Unless you win the national title, you're not doing a better job. You're kind of status quo. Whereas at USC, if you beat UCLA and you're playing for the Pac-12 championship, when was the last time you could, with a little bit of regularity, that's vertical movement. And who gets the credit? The guy you just paid all the money to.
You ever play USC when you were playing in Pittsburgh?
No, never played USC.
Never played against them? Yeah, I talk about distractions, man. Those USC song girls.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been a tough pregame.
Smoking hot, suddenly beautiful.
Tough pregame, Defo.
Yeah, they didn't have to march around in pasties and a G-string.
I have no idea.
It was like dream girls more so than song girls. It was unbelievable. But no, I do remember. I mean, I covered USC football back in the day when they were very, very good. And Dynasty every year competing for national championships. The great John Robinson, one of the most dignified of coaches, was running the show there. And they were really run what was impressive, John. And you've been in a lot of locker rooms as a media member and covered a lot of things, press conferences and all that stuff. The way that they organized everything at USC was as professional, and this is back in the late 70s, as any you will ever see. They knew how to get that publicity wheel churning. And I don't know if that's, I mean, how much of a factor might that be today where, maybe you need some internet genius, some, guy with Coke bottle glasses and zits, is really the guy that's getting the word out about these programs, that's helping in recruiting. It's got to be, or has to be, a little bit of a different ballgame. Well, one that was baffling to me, though, I find this surprising. I haven't figured this out yet. And that is Oklahoma immediately said, well, or at least reports were, that they were going to try and hire Cliff Kingsbury. Why would this guy leave the Arizona Cardinals? Was that right? Is there another Kingsbury? Did I miss something on that?
No, that's the same one.
Who would go from riding the, the back of a team that you kind of put together, with your own, this is by design. I mean, he bailed out on, quarterbacks to get Kyler Murray. And, it turned out to be the right move. He's turned him into a star in the league in a short period of time when a lot of people didn't know if he had the ability to be a pro. Why would he leave that to go coach at a college program? Unless, did he go there or something? I mean, what's the history there?
I don't know what the history is there, but you're right. Once you get in the NFL and you're 9-2 in the National Football Conference in the West Division, why in the world would you want to get back and start recruiting 16 and 17-year-old student athletes that if you don't like their Twitter posts, that they're going to, decommit from Oklahoma?
Phoenix, Stillwater. I rest my case.
It's crazy.
I mean, who the hell would want to go to Stillwater, Oklahoma? My God.
It's Norman.
Norman, I'm thinking Stillwater.
I mean,
he's recruiting some kid in Stillwater,
away,
trying to snare him away from Oklahoma State. Yeah,
that's right. But you're right, Defo. I don't know why he would be even rumored unless they're going to give the money that they thought they had put away for Lincoln Riley and overpay to get Cliff Kingsbury, and that sways you. I don't know. Once you're a head coach in the National Football League, isn't that the pinnacle? And you're having success with one of the most dynamic quarterbacks that you wanted in college. You finally got as a pro coach. It's a perfect scenario for Cliff to stay where he's at.
It's not like they're 2-10, and Kyler Murray is a complete bust and is an embarrassment that he ever believed in him. And, why not just get Barry Switzer back if you're going to go in that direction? You'd have just as much of a likelihood of snaring him, you would think. So that was kind of an interesting one. That kept popping up on these various sports channel crawls. And, I was thinking, how is that even remotely possible? All right, we're Dateline Dolphins with John Kajemi. We'll talk some more about the National Football League and, of course, the college football playoff. A little helter-skelter going on there. So we'll see how happens there. That comes out tomorrow. The AP rankings have reflected some changes based on the weekend, as you might expect, with Michigan now installed as the number 2 team in the country. Ohio State out of picture. OOP, as they say in dog racing. So interesting stuff. Italian Fisherman Pizza. I still haven't gotten Mayo to Gambling Gourmet to consent to go down to Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. In our case, it's going down to, but it's worth the trip from anywhere. But the food there is extraordinary. A lot of people think, okay, I'm going to get like typical sports bar food, maybe some frozen chicken tenders. It's nothing like that. It's absolutely gourmet quality and with a wide variety of things that people can absolutely enjoy as they take in those beautiful sunsets.
There's anything and everything on that menu that will find the sweet spot for your taste buds. And my brother Dominic does an absolute fabulous job in the kitchen with Amanda and Larry down there running the show. It is. The Fisherman's Pizza is world renowned. Every time I go, I have to have a slice of something or a couple of slices of whatever my brother wants to put together. I say yes, because I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be cooked properly. Anywhere from pastas to fish to the common man's pizza. When you want to go down and just get a regular cheese or pepperoni and mushroom, whatever you want, it's there at the Big Chill. And Jimmy Johnson spends a lot of time there. He does a lot of features for Fox Sports when they're covering the National Football League right from the Big Chill, because it's such a beautiful place to just hang out and eat, have a cocktail, and kind of put your mind at ease. And that's what the Bayside does down in the Keys. And that's exactly at mile marker 104 where Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill is located. So if you haven't been there, you got to go. And I know if you've been there, you're going again, because it's just the spot to be in the Upper Keys.
People are looking for a little staycation, so to speak, here in Florida, Floridians, and the accommodations there are extraordinary. So you might want to check into that. And the number is 305-453-9066. John was gracious enough through Larry Calvano to put us up, me up, in one of those beautiful units that they have. And it was like, my God, I don't know. I've never stayed in a better hotel setup in my lifetime than was available there at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. So if you're a couple of couples want to get together and stay and share the cost of this thing, it's absolutely fantastic. And it's great. And there's plenty of room, so you won't be stepping all over each other. It's absolutely a great, great way to stay in the Keys. All right, now we'll wrap things up with John. A lot more to get to here in a short period of time on Eye on Channel. Peel yourself off the mat Monday. And, standing 8 count after I pushed away from the Thanksgiving table, which, I happen to love Thanksgiving food. I could eat it every day the rest of my life, but unfortunately, that wouldn't work out like you were saying. All of a sudden, you balloon up there like you were James Lights Out Tony, a boxer, right? Went from a lightweight to a heavyweight overnight. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
As we say, the only light that was out was the one in the fridge because you had opened it too many times. It's 8:48.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You could get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studiali family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Since day one of old school, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes, because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy, with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
The great John Grisham with us here on 940 Wins.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't get your question.
You were a coach that you coached all kinds of teams. You had teams that...
Hey, say it in English. You got it?
Start your day with a cup of Defo and Lubie. Welcome back to the Defo Show.
English. You got it?
Welcome back to the show. That was great. That was years ago. Mike Lubitz. We were doing a high school football show. You can appreciate this, John Congemi. And welcome back to Dateline Dolphins with John Congemi here on the Defo Show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz on on Channel, and John's presence brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104 in Key Largo. So I was broadcasting some high school football games. I put together like a little production on high school football. I thought it would be big down here. It wasn't as easy a job to accomplish as I thought it would be, because of the rabid interest that they have here in high school football. I thought a little broadcast on a Friday night, game in a week type of thing on a local station might catch on. Now, the problem was, I would have to admit that the station signal, and this predated everybody having apps, and you could listen to anything on your cell phone anywhere in the world like this show, it was a little fuzzy at night. So, that might have compromised our ability to get any kind of an audience for the games. But we're doing a bunch of high school coaches shows and things like that out of Landlubbers. And Lubie gets his chance to interview Bobby Bowden, his idol. And he starts to ask him one of those, Lubie questions where you're thinking, where is this going? And is there a question attached? I do that too. So
that's bad.
I really
Lubie.
Can't blame the kid, where, sometimes you drop off to a guest and you realize, I never asked this guy a question. But Bowden cuts him off and says, gives him a dadgummit. I thought it was just absolutely classic.
That is
all right,
priceless.
where do we? Yeah, where do we stand, John Congemi? With a few minutes that we have left, we have to cover a lot of ground here. So where do we stand with the college football playoff, in your opinion? Who's 1, 2, 3, and 4?
In my opinion, Georgia clearly number one. I agree with moving Michigan to number two. I think Alabama should have stayed at number three, and Cincinnati's going to have to stay at four. And you're just hoping that something's going to happen where, in my opinion, Cincinnati's is going to get squeezed out. I don't know how it's going to happen, whether they play a close game against Houston in the AAC championship game and then Oklahoma State, or a team that they beat in Notre Dame that had lost at Notre Dame Stadium could find a way to get into the Final Four, to that four that are going to be remaining there. But right now I would say Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Cincinnati.
How surprising to you what was the result in Ann Arbor with the Wolverines just trouncing Ohio State? It was coming off a juggernaut type of victory that you thought, my God. It was the old thing we always say about FSU. Who would want to play them at this point in the season?
It's hard to beat the same team that many times, especially in a rivalry game. You get nasty weather. Ohio State's Achilles heel has been their defense when they go up against good teams. Michigan thumped them early, hit them in the mouth, took a big lead, 15-point lead twice. Ohio State tried to nip back at that lead, but ultimately you've got a young quarterback that's live and die on the big play down the field. And Michigan, I don't think Ohio State could handle those two defensive ends. I think that really turned the game around, because Hutchinson, I think, and I can't remember the other kid's name, they were humming off the edge. And Michigan had that mindset that was going to be their game. Once you got that 15-point lead a couple of times and then answered a score with a score, I think the Wolverines did an excellent job at home. And I thought that was one of Jim Harbaugh's best jobs coaching a team, calling plays offensively, because he kept going back to the run and he kept thumping them and playing, big boy football at the line of scrimmage. 5 rushing touchdowns for the Wolverines. That was an old school Woody and Bo show, and it was fun to watch.
It was almost fun to watch until the very bitter end, that Alabama-Auburn game, as I'm rooting with every emotional fiber that I possess for Alabama to go down. And then it would really be tough for them to ace out a team like Cincinnati or anybody else in favor of Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. They're doing nothing, John Conjemi, the entire game. 0.0. Lukarski.
Nothing.
How do you go Red Sea defense there at the end of that ball game? And, obviously the clock management was horrendous. I don't know, a kid could make a mistake, but anybody, at any level of football knows that the last thing you want to do is run out of bounds there.
Yeah, tough to explain the dynamics of how the last couple of minutes went. You have to give credit to Alabama. They found a way to win. They go 95 plus yards.
97 yards.
97 yards.
Yeah, 3-yard line.
And you knew, guys, did you have this feeling?
Oh, yeah.
If it got to overtime, they were going to win.
Yeah,
they were going to find a way to win, right? And for Auburn to dominate a football game for that long and maybe not get a call at the end, and then they go out of bounds. Every scenario that could have happened to extend that game happened, and Alabama took advantage of it.
All right, well, we're on a winning streak, Johnny. John Conjemi, Dateline Dolphins. That's 4 in a row for the Fins. Now 5-7 with the Giants and the Jets. 2 weak New York entries on tap here. So could be, right? We reached the ultimate goal of any NFL team, and that is to be 7-7 after 14 games.
500.
Hey, there's a lot to be said when you're 1-7 to get to 7-7.
You have to credit a team. I mean, how they talk about peeling yourselves off the mat. There's no greater characteristic of the Brian Flores coaching era than his ability to rally a team that should be completely almost suicidal at the point of the season they get to, and has tried everything in their power to be a loser, and yet somehow,
here we are.
Come back again. Amazing. All right, literally more comebacks than Roberto Duran these guys have made. John, always a pleasure, my friend. Jimmy Johnson's Big Show. We thank them for their support of the program, and hope to see you down there. I don't know. You never call back. That makes me feel very tenuous about the upcoming arrangements.
Don't feel confident. I spoke with my brother last night, and they're putting it together. Just a lot of moving pieces right now. We're just trying to pick the best date on a Monday to get down there, but we are going to get down there. Yeah.
You made my holiday season, Jimmy.
Yes.
As you do make this hour of the show. Dateline Dolphins, John Conjemi, thanks, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoyed it.
All right. Very good. Yeah, John Conjemi. So much stuff there. Football. I mean, and there were a lot of other things that happened over the weekend in other sports as well. I mean,
It's very busy. Wait, the Heat actually have played well. I think they're the
beat
number one.
Chicago, came back there. Yeah. No, that was good. I mean, they're sitting there in second place, a game back of the Brooklyn Nets for the top spot in the Eastern Conference, which is not nearly as strong at the top level as the Western Conference appears to be, with the Phoenix Suns having won 16 straight. You notice who's leading that charge?
I know. I got it, Mr.
I don't think he can play. I don't think he can play. We need Justice Winslow. Justice Winslow.
Yeah.
One of the heinous and fatal mistakes of Pat Riley's brilliant career. A move that he doesn't like to talk about to this day, Lubie. In public, anyway. All right, we're going to see you guys tomorrow, man. It flew by. Thanks so much for tuning in and turning your friends on to the show. I understand things are on the upswing on all fronts with that. At least we hope so. And I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I know Lubie and I both did. And people at Ion Channel, always great dealing with them and coming back with more. And what's good? I do believe this. And I said this to the lovely Amy. 2022 is going to be our year here. On Ion Channel. It's coming together, and we thank you guys for your support. And we'll do it again tomorrow at 7 in the morning as we leave you now that.
The time.
It's 9:01.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.